Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. We are back after another little delay for life and things. We are back. We are not in the studio today, of course, as you can see. We are back into the Zoom for other reasons, but we're here. We're going to do the show. We're going to get through it. It's going to be a good time. So first off, how you doing, Brian? How's things with you and everything going on in the world of the Kazaska?
Well, a lot has happened. But before I get into it, I just want to get this way out of the way. We are a little bit like 2 weeks away
Yes.
from Cliff's Big Con comic book, toy, and collectible show Sunday, May 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Over 75 dealers will be there, special guests, Pokemon, Funko Pop, comics, toys, you name it, we will have it. There will also be a costume contest with cash prizes. Also, it's $5 to get in. It's going to be Doubletree Hotel, 42 Century Drive, Bristol, Connecticut, 06010. I've been plastering this out every weekend. We're getting close. I will be there. It should be a great show.
I will be there.
It's a 3-day weekend. So if you're like, I don't want to spend my Sunday inside, but you'll have Monday off. So come on down, man. Should be a good time. Looking forward to doing it. It's going to be my first show since last year. Well, actually, my first show since February. This February we had two
February
shows.
did Scott show.
So we're going to have this one. Then we're going to have Scott show. And then we're going to have Andrew show.
Yeah.
So for the next 3 months. Yeah. So come on down. Should be a good time.
But it will be. And Matt Ryan's going to be there as well. He'll be, I believe, the next issue of Brenda will debut at the CliffsCon show at the end of the month. So
yeah, and
there's also that. So
Matt Ryan should be excited. The new Conan, I think, comes out in July.
Yes, yeah. There's also a free comic book day for that. So
nice.
He was excited about that as well.
Yeah, I know Matt's. It was a success. Very busy there. I know Matt Ryan was there. I went on Friday. I donated some food. But I don't go because it's chaos. It's chaos, and I don't want to be in the way. They got enough things to worry about. So
I had the conversation with Matt, and I've said it to other guys, like, free comic book day isn't for people who read comics. Free comic book day is to bring new people in. So and
if there's no tick, I really don't have any.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no way.
The great thing with Matt's is I donate my food on Friday generally, and they always say you can grab something if you want. And I'm like, I'm good. So, but I heard it was a success there. So last week we saw Guardians on Thursday.
Yes.
Friday.
2 weeks ago now, I think.
Yeah, Friday I started feeling worn down.
Yeah.
Saturday, I was full blown sick. I got the flu. And I had high fever, aches, no appetite. I had the gambit. I wasn't throwing up, thank God.
Yeah.
I had no appetite, so I barely
couldn't throw anything up.
Yeah. Then, unfortunately, I gave it to Allison. So she got sick. She started getting sick on Monday.
Years.
Now, I got my flu shot, so it lasted for me about 7 days.
Yeah.
And Allison hit harder because she never got her flu shot because she doesn't leave the house for work.
Yeah.
So she just started feeling better like yesterday. Yeah, her fever didn't break till Friday. I started feeling better this past Friday. By this weekend, I'm pretty much over it now.
Yeah.
It takes a lot out of you. You're just tired. So on top of that, I had to get my blood work done.
Yeah.
Which I'm deathly afraid of needles. Only because I've passed out not once, but twice. I got my flu shot and my COVID booster last October. For for some strange reason, I've never had this problem, but I didn't eat or something. The whole room started to spin at CVS, and
Oh.
I passed out in their chair, and
That's not good.
nobody came to my aid. I'll probably think a homeless guy's taking a nap.
Yeah.
So I'm getting my colonoscopy tomorrow, Mark.
Ah,
So today I'm on a liquid diet,
the old road rooter.
and I start my diarrhea inducing medicine
Yes.
at 5 p.m. today.
Yes.
So I had to give blood work so they can make sure my blood work is good
Yeah.
for the procedure.
Yeah.
Now I was like, okay, I got to get this done.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Allison, can you come with me? Let's bring a snack if I pass
Yeah.
out. We get there. We tell the lady, we say, listen, I've passed out. And she goes, you know what? We'll have you see someone else.
Yeah.
And Allison goes, they're going to put you in the little kid room. I know it.
Yep. Yep.
So we go in there. We're in the room for little kids, but bonus, there's the chair I can lay down.
Yeah.
Now the other chairs you have to sit up. So
Yeah.
the woman was super nice. I lay down. Allison's holding my hand. I'm squeezing her hand. She's like, "Don't look." So they get the needle in my arm. I feel a pinch, and it's all in my head. I know it's all in my head. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I have the same kind of thing, but you know the trick they taught me was you take your thumbnail and you jam it into your finger, so that before they do it, and then you don't feel it as bad.
Right.
And I even had another, when I get mine done, I tell them about that, and they do the trick now where they stick their thumbnail into my arm first, then they slide the needle over top of their thumbnail. So I'm already getting the pain from the thumb, so I don't realize it's the needle going in.
Well,
tricks of the trade, as they say.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that, but anyway, it wasn't that bad. So here's the kicker for me: the woman's here. I'm looking at Allison, and the woman's like, "I'm not getting any blood over here. I got to go to the other arm." And I'm like, "God damn you!"
That's the worst. So I can't find a vein.
Yeah. So she goes to the other arm, and Alice comes on the other side. She fills up 3 vials of blood, all good. She lets me stay and lay down.
Yeah.
I had a hat on. We take the hat off. She's like, take your mask off. You gotta like breathe. You gotta breathe.
Yeah.
So I took my mask off. And we're just talking to her and had a great conversation. She's very nice. And you know, we're laughing about stuff. And I was good. I was all good. We got in the car. I had a snack. Felt good. So got that out of the way. And then on that's when I first started feeling sick. And Monday, I had to bring my cat in to get his blood work done. Now, fast forward to Friday, I get a phone call from my vet saying the cat, you know, his vitals are, it's really rough. He's going to be going on anesthesia. He's got a mouth problem. We can't get in there. We need to get in there because he's in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
His vitals, there's a good chance he may make it, may not make it. We're letting you know. So that's why I didn't go to D&D, because I was like, my gut is telling me that if I can't, plus he needed to be on pain medication every 8 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm at D&D from 2 to 11.
Yeah.
I got to be home to give, because he would not take the medication from Allison, only me.
Yeah.
So, and plus getting over the flu, maybe it was probably the best.
Probably the best idea.
So I stayed home with Buddy the cat, and we hung out, and today I dropped him off at 8 this morning. They said they'll call with any issues. I'm hoping he survives.
Yeah.
He's got such a pain in his mouth he can't eat solid. And we've been waiting for this appointment for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's been on pain medication for 3 weeks.
I
know. And then Allison gets to drive me to Bloomfield to get my colonoscopy tomorrow, 1 in the afternoon.
Jeepers.
It's a 2:15 butt cleansing.
There you go.
Yeah. So, man,
Fun's getting old.
Yeah. Well, this colonoscopy is mostly to help figure out my digestive problems
Hmm.
that I've been having for forever.
Aren't you just lactose? Isn't that just the stick of the thing?
No, dude, you don't know the half of it.
Yeah.
There's I stay away from lactose, but sometimes it's not even that. I'll eat a normal lunch, like
Yeah.
grilled chicken, a vegetable or whatever,
Mm.
and my stomach is like evacuate,
Yeah.
and sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. And yeah, we just figure out what's wrong with me.
Hmm.
So this is what the colonoscopy is there for.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing that tomorrow. I'll be reporting back all of it next week.
Yeah.
When we report again.
Yeah.
And Allison's had like 2 or 3. So I can do it.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna pass out, and the next thing I will them waking me up.
Yeah.
And it will be over.
Yeah.
I did have some funny ideas though. I told Allison, I go, what if we put googly eyes on my butt cheek? So when they lift my gown, there's 2 googly eyes looking back at them. Or I want to put a sticky note that says, I hope you enjoyed your stay. Please sign the guest book on your way out. Allison's like, if you want to do that, go right ahead. That's what she tells me.
She's like, yeah, hilarious.
I think they're funny.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that has been my week. I'm a little bit nervous because I'm hoping my cat survives today. My gut is telling me he should be fine, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
He's old cat.
Yeah.
And I'm not that nervous for tomorrow. I think I'm more nervous about drinking all that crap I got to drink at 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah, it'll clean you out.
Yeah.
My dad did it. It cleaned him out.
Yeah, and I don't have any problems in that department, to be honest with you.
All that big league chew from when you were 9 years old is gonna be coming right out.
Yeah, the watermelon seeds that you were told not to eat when you were a kid.
It's all coming.
All that gum, that hangs out in the corners of your stomach. So anyway, that's my life. And then, of course, this Saturday, this is what I've been looking forward to. This is what
the state is happening.
Yeah, we get to see Blink-182 with Tom. I've been staying away from I'm on the Reddit board, and the cool thing is each city, town they go to gets a special tour poster that's made only for that event, a special tour shirt that's only made for that event. So there's 2 things I want to pick up.
Noted.
And I want to get to the merch table early. And hopefully I can put this up in the car and not have to carry it around.
Yeah.
That would be ideal. But
they've given out like a roundabout time frame of how long they're playing.
I think they're maybe playing an hour or 20 tops.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
How many pre-show acts? Like how many warm-up acts?
Turnside tables are the only opening act.
Oh, man. This is great. If you can get a 3-hour show, I'm happy.
Oh,
I'm an old man now. All these waiting around for long performances.
I think Turnside Table they'll probably be on like
half an hour.
Half an hour, and then there'll be a quick changeover. But I am very excited.
Last time we saw Blink-182, I had a broken leg.
Yeah. Wait a minute. No, didn't you see them with Weezer and Blink too with us? Didn't you go to that show? I swear to God, you went to that show. No, it was in Hartford.
We had this conversation before. I don't think I went to that one.
I swear to God, you did.
Last one I went to for Blink was at the Xfinity. It was with you.
Yeah.
But it had to be like when I had my broken leg, I think. And that was
that was our first concert together. We saw.
It wasn't.
Me and you, our first concert together?
First concert together was Foo Fighters, Weezer at Bridgeport with the Yes.
Well, it was Hot Hot Heat.
Or Hot Hot Heat, that's right.
Yeah. I thought Blink was.
No.
Well, they were around the same time.
Around the same time, yeah.
But man, I'm excited. So I got today colonoscopy to get through,
Yeah.
and then I get to have. I look forward to the big comic show. So should be a good time, Mark. I am very excited to go. I'm pumped.
Yeah, you get to hang out with the Kazaska brothers for a day. That's gonna be
me and my brother. Yeah, should be good. Anthony will be entertaining.
Yes, as always. As always.
Yeah. Well, just be happy it's that one, not the other one. I paid to listen to them sing, not you talk.
Yes.
Yes. So anyway, should be a great
Speaking of
time.
your brother. No, it's good.
Should be a good time. So yeah, that has been my week. I really haven't done much other than being very sick.
Yeah.
And taking care of Allison and now my cat and now this. So yeah, I mean, other than the Guardians, which has sat in my head and I constantly think about, and I'm very excited to see it again. That was my last 2 weeks, Marcus. How was your last 2 weeks?
Pretty good. I didn't get sick at all, so that was a good thing.
That's good.
Like you said, we did Guardians when it came out that Thursday. Then after that, kind of did the anniversary thing with Claire. Just went out to dinner, had a nice little anniversary, quiet, nothing crazy.
Nice.
And then just a regular work week. And then this past weekend, I spent it in Maine for the kart series, first race of the season. So took my brother and we went to Maine for the weekend. So yeah, did that. Good little trip. Saturday we headed out there. Went to a nice little Days Inn in Brunswick. Got a nice seafood dinner that night. And then the next day, kart racing, and then drove home. Got a little sunburn.
Nice.
And yeah, still dealing with that. It's on the ears. You can see it's a little.
You gotta put some sunscreen on that, Marcus.
I put it on in the morning, and then just the day got away from me, and I didn't have a chance to reapply.
Whoa, you gotta reapply.
I know.
That sun will get you.
It did. It got me.
No joke. It's no joke, Mark.
Yeah.
I can tell.
I've been using the Afterburn, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's down there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mark. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've gotten a sunburn, so not that stressed out about it. But
well,
it was worse the first day. It's gotten way better. It looked like a lobster when I got home. So
yeah. It'd be great to see you. Well, for the concert, but next week we'll be back. Hopefully, back in the studio.
Hopefully, that's the plan.
Yeah.
See how it goes, schedule wise and everything.
Right.
But yeah,
I do like the studio look.
Yeah.
And I think our viewers or listen, YouTube has been pretty good. So I think people like the studio.
Yeah.
I like it too.
Yeah.
And I know Bobby listens to our show, and it sucks that we both missed D&D. I was actually really.
I was on my way to Maine, and you were.
Be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, if my cat were to pass away today, at least I knew I had a day with him, and he had to take his medication. I can't, like, in the D&D, I'm like, I'm there for more than 8 hours.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. I know how it goes.
But like, I'm excited.
You get to hang out with me in the Feywild.
We get to. Our next game is in June.
Yeah.
June 24th or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be listening to the podcast, which Bob edits and puts together.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to that to see what's going on. I hope everything.
Wait for the Clip Notes version from John. So that way I don't sit through it.
Honestly, I haven't read much. I look at the text. I'm like, oh my god, where's everybody talking about? And I jump out. So I'll kind of like.
It's mostly Alex. He's very much into it.
That's great. Yeah,
it is, but he's very much into the grand scheme of planning things, and it's a lot of that going on.
Yeah. So I will definitely read and catch up on all that probably tomorrow after my procedure. When I'm all loopy, and I'll be like, yeah,
it's a good time.
Yeah. But anyway, Marcus, So one of the biggest news things that
Oh,
happened.
sorry, I didn't. Before we get into that,
Oh, well.
I did watch Muppets Mayhem on the Disney Plus. It's Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem Show.
Oh,
It's amazing.
is it good?
It's really good. It's like one of those things that's made for kids, but also, got stuff in it for the adults to watch. So,
Well, it's a Muppet.
makes it entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great. It's a lot of it's all based off Dr. Teeth and Electric Mayhem have had a record contract for 50 years, but have never officially made an album. And it's all about them having to make an album to, fulfill their contract kind of thing.
Cool.
And hilarity ensues.
And hilarity ensues.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, they did a very good job with it. It was very fun.
Oh, speaking of Muppets and old stuff like that, I've been, dubbing my VHS tapes to DVD, and I made a YouTube channel, which I'm trying to post as much content that I can without getting copyright strikes.
Yes.
So it's the VHS Vault on YouTube, and I have shared it on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
And I've been I have over 70 videos already ready to go between now and next year.
Wow.
And what I'm doing is, like a dork, I look up when said thing had aired.
Yeah.
And that's when it will be posted. So I have tons of stuff coming out.
That's very Bryon of you.
Yeah, it's very bright of me. So a lot of cool stuff coming, like a lot of MTV stuff, old commercials.
I could just post it all at once, but I've decided to make up a thing that no one else understands, but
Yeah.
I understand.
But I understand. Yeah. So June, I got a lot of cool stuff coming out in June, so it should be good. But anyway, yeah, I figured, hey, why not? I'm digitizing all this stuff for me anyway. I'll see what I can put up there. And with YouTube, you can put up a lot. And
As long as you put a thing on it saying you don't own the rights to the
that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, but if you don't like monetize it either, you just let them take the copyright hit and just let them.
Yeah, there's some things. You're right. Okay, so basically, it'll say it's copywritten, and that you might not be able to monetize this. That's fine. I'm not monetizing.
Yeah.
But there's different levels. There will be like, it's copywritten, it's cool by the artist, it's cool by whatever, you're fine.
Yeah.
Then there's complete, it's copywritten, and then in yellow, and that basically means it's going to be banned in certain countries.
Yeah.
And then you can look to see, is it banned in America? And it will list off every country it's banned on.
Yeah.
Sometimes it will be banned in Russia. Russia being a big thing, I've noticed it being banned in Russia, which I don't care.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Myanmar, I've seen that a couple times. It's like
it will say worldwide ban.
Yeah.
Well, then I delete it, and what's the point?
Yeah.
But if it's banned in Russia or a handful of countries, but it can be seen in the US, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So there's different levels.
Yeah.
Of the copyright stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I've had a couple times randomly, or like PSAs for some reason, when you put like shows up that you've aired on public access, and people have come to me, volunteers, and said, "Oh, my show's aired. I can't air my show anywhere on YouTube." And I'm like, "Oh well, what is it?" And it's like a PSA gets flagged because there's a song in the PSA that gets hit, or if it's some actor is in the PSA, sometimes it gets flagged for like random things. But there is a thing now, like YouTube does a thing, like you can clip that part out.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, just take that part out of my video and I don't care.
Yeah, I love it. There's so many tools now, right? It will be like, clip it. It will smartly know where the thing is. And there is some stuff I put up that, like, I had a tribute to Andy Kaufman. I taped off ABC back in 1994.
Yeah.
And there's tons of clips from SNL, David Letterman,
Yeah.
And for some reason, and I refuted those. I said, I just wrote back, it's part of a documentary.
Yeah.
And it came back saying nope. So
Yeah.
I clicked delete clip and it
Yeah.
just got rid of the clip.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Whatever. I still have the original for me. I don't
Yeah.
care. But
Yeah.
like
That worldwide pants, they get very temperamental.
well, all the the 2 SNL clips and the Letterman clip, all 3 got flagged and
Yeah.
would not allow me to stay up there. So
It's crazy.
but anyway, it's still fun. I got a lot of cool
Yeah.
stuff coming out. It's called the VHS Vault. I have a few things up there right now, but like I said, over 70 clips already scheduled, and I have a buttload more, man. I am not even
You made a dent.
I haven't even made a dent. I have so many VHS tapes I'm going through.
Mm.
It's going to take me, it's been taking me all winter. It's going to take me all summer. I probably won't finish this project till the end of the year, the way it's going. So it's a lot.
Speaking of what's old is new again, May 24th, I'm recording the first episode of the reboot of Equilibrium TV.
Ooh,
Yes.
May
Our
20th.
first guests for Evermore.
Forevermore? Is that
Yes.
Mike Haynes' thing?
Mike Haynes' band, new band. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He came in this past Thursday. We did a little walk around like thing and kind of talked out what we're planning on doing for the show. And he's also gonna return as the junior correspondent after his show's recorded.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So after this show, he'll be the new host for Equilibrium TV.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it's old as new again.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, we already have I think 4 or 5 bands lined up. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, I will air it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was asking, he's like, have you gotten permission from Bryon? Does Bryon know this is happening? I'm like, yes, I talked to Bryon about it. Bryon knows it's happening.
What do you need my permission for? I don't care.
Well, it was our show. So it's like, he just is wondering if you're going to be involved. I said, he might pop in. I don't know.
I might try. It all depends.
Yeah, it depends on what your work schedule is and stuff, I said.
Yeah, it's during the work week. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But
that's why I did it on a Wednesday, because that's usually a day where not many things are going on in the public access world.
Well, with us, there's always a meeting. But anyway, that's exciting. And I'll definitely air it in my public access.
Yeah.
And you could put it up. You got the login for the ETV.
Yeah, no, we'll get it all back up and running again.
We can get that up there on the old ETV
Yeah.
page.
Yeah. Kick the dust off the old website, off the old YouTube account. You're right there.
I thought I heard a buzzing. So here's another story. I come downstairs in my basement, right?
Yeah.
And I hear a buzzing. And I thought it was a fly. Oh, it's a fly.
Yeah.
And it's like, bzz, 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 and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
My window, that window you see right there?
Yes.
The one over there, there are 2, not bees, but the bigger hornet wasps. And they're massive. And they're trying to get out. And I was just like, what do I do?
Open the window.
So, no, you can't, because there's a screen. There's no way. And I'm not putting my hand through them. I put on my vacuum cleaner and I sucked them up. I was so fucking scared, man. I didn't mean to swear. I was so scared. Because they're big and they're mad and they're trying to get out. I sucked them up with my vacuum cleaner.
You had to get it some way, though.
I know. That's how to get my bait. So I have been so paranoid. I'm like, how do they get in here?
You have a hatchway.
Yeah, I do, but I don't think they came in now.
If there's any kind of hole in your hatchway, they can get in. And I would check to make sure they haven't built the nest inside there.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
'Cause if they build a nest, then you're in for an experience.
Well, since vacuuming them two up, it's like a horror movie.
Mm.
I've not heard or seen anything.
Mm.
That was last weekend.
Now you just think you hear it because you're paranoid.
Yeah. No, it's from something from outside. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it scared me. I really thought something was back. I got the vacuum ready, Mark.
When Kylie brought Josh over on Saturday, we were heading to Maine. She dropped him off. We were out. They brought Holly and their dog, and they were in the backyard. And we were sitting on the deck, and Josh looked up on our sliding glass door. And Claire's had been quit smoking, so she hasn't been going out there at all. So we haven't been back there much. Josh was like, "Oh, look at that! You got a little bee's nest going on there." And they'd start to build a nest, and there was one bee, like the queen bee, basically was there, like starting it, or someone was starting it. One of the bees. So we like waited till it flew away, and I was like, "Josh, just grab it. We'll put it in a Ziploc bag, and I'll throw it away." So he grabbed the nest off, threw it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the garbage.
Wow, brave.
Yeah,
nice.
Well, there's nothing else there. It was just a little shell.
The tiny one, yeah.
Yeah.
During COVID, I had a small bee or wasp building a nest in my door of my old Ford.
Yeah.
I got to Stop and Shop, and this bee kept flying around the car.
Yeah.
And I opened the door, and inside the door, tiny, and I went in, bought wasp killer, and I'm like spraying it.
I get up all the time underneath our deck, like the little banister of the deck on the lawn side. There's always like a little tiny one that they start, like a little satellite office. And I'm like, nope, we're getting rid of that really quickly. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is the time of year, man. They start making their little homes everywhere.
Yeah.
It's either you got to find them.
You got to keep an eye out as they fly. Like as you see one or two of them, that's usually the sign that there's a little village starting somewhere.
I know, it's scaring me. I mean, these things were big. They were like that long. They're the yellow ones. They're not a bee. It was like the wasp, big one. The big.
That's more of a hornet, I think. It's yellow.
It's yellow.
Yeah, that's a hornet, I think.
Well, I vacuumed those
hornets. That's a. They multiply like rabbits. Those hornets.
Yeah. I hate Mother Nature sometimes. Why do you make things, such cruel things? Bees, ticks.
Speaking of Mother Nature, if you want to watch another YouTube account, check out Brian and Allison's Critter Country website that they have.
That's what Backyard Buddies.
Yeah, Backyard Buddies. That's the name of it. I knew it was something with something weird.
Yeah. It's a Backyard Buddies.
The newest episode of the skunk in the backyard. Had the same kind of occurrence in our neighborhood. We have stray cats that wander our neighborhood now.
Oh no.
And our neighbor, because the stray cat had kittens.
Oh.
So our neighbor started feeding the kittens. And while she was away, I think 2 times ago, I was feeding the kittens, and at night I was going to go feed the kittens, and I was running late because I came home from work and went to feed them then, and went to go towards her backyard. After I fed the inside cats that she has, I looked out the sliding glass door, and there's a skunk on the deck.
Oh, I'm sure eating the cat food.
Eating the cat food. And I'm like, well, that's the end of that. I'm not gonna be doing that no more.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a possum, we have a skunk, we have a raccoon, we have a fox. We got it all back here, baby.
3,000 squirrels.
And pretty much. All right, Mark. Well, the one big thing in news.
Yes.
The writer strike happened. So
it has happened. It's been going on, yeah.
Unfortunately, all our favorite things will probably be delayed. until the writer's strike is figured out, and hopefully,
Except for Game of Thrones.
No, everything.
Nope.
Game of Thrones is not even written. They have.
I read an article about the beginning of the strike, and they talked to George R. Martin, and he had said the scripts for this next season have been written, and we will not be doing any rewrites, and we are pushing forward with filming of the second season.
Yeah, but that's George R. Martin.
And the production confirmed that they have not stopped production. They're pushing through.
Well, there you go.
So.
Well, anyway, most things, so hopefully the writers get what they deserve. And it just sucks that these corporations have really.
Well, I mean, allegedly, the main sticking point to this whole thing is Netflix.
No, it's not just Netflix.
Well, they're like
all of them. It's all of them, Mark. It's not just Netflix.
Well, I know, but that's like the one that's like most people have been complaining about.
It's Netflix. It's all these corporations that make billions of all this money, but are not willing to pay the writers what they deserve. Also, the writers now aren't making as much because they're going to, it's a streaming show. It's not a show where you got 22 episodes and then after 100 episodes, it's going to get reruns and you're going to get paid. It's a streaming show. So now they want there's some great information pieces on YouTube that cover the whole logistics of what the writers want. But the big thing is it's the landscape has changed in the last 15 years. You have someone gets hired for a show, they write, the companies want them to write, and they want a smaller writing room. Then they don't want the writers to be on set anymore. A lot of times when you were a writer, you were on set because you had to change dialogue, you had to change things, and you would learn and you would move forward in the industry, where a lot of these companies are not doing that now because they want a faster turnover. So also a writer could come from when they were on network, when network was big, a writer could write for a show for 22 episodes. They go on to the next gig and that show could go into reruns and you're still getting residuals. But now when you're writing a 10 episode or 8 episode story arc for streaming, the companies are not paying out what they should be to these writers. They're paying them one and done, but their show could be a massive hit on streaming and they're not getting the residuals anymore. So the landscape has changed. So the writers have to fight for this because these companies make a lot of money and they can afford it. But also, these writers are the people who write some of our favorite shows, and the quality gets killed when these companies are like, no, we don't want you on set. No, we want you in and out. We want you to write this and you're gone. So they're fighting for bigger writers, a bigger writing room, to be in there longer, to be allowed on set, also to keep AI out of it, which is another threat. Which is a horrible, horrible thing. And yeah, these companies can afford it. But Adam Conover, who is one of the heads of the union, he's been on CNN. He's been on tons of things talking about this. There's some great information for people to know more. I'm just giving you, regurgitating what I've heard. But yeah, it's all the companies, not just Netflix. It's Netflix.
No, I know,
it's
but I'm
Apple,
saying, but
it's
that's
Disney.
like the one that I know a lot of the writers I've seen with their signs. A lot of them mention Netflix. So that's why I was just saying it's.
But it's all of them. They
streaming
all
services mostly, but yes.
Yeah.
But like shows that are affected, if people are wondering like what kind of stuff, all your late night talk shows, Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel, even John Oliver's show, the one on Comedy Central, Daily Show, stuff like that. All that's halted right now. Even shows that they're not airing right now, but they're producing or in production for their next season. Shows like Billions, Severance, Stranger Things, stuff like that is all, pretty much shut down right now.
Yeah.
One thing that happened during the last writer's strike, which lasted like 100 days, I think, in 2007, was the last time
13
writers went on
weeks.
strike.
I don't know if that's 100
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
13
something like that. Yeah, but it brought about the birth of the boom of reality television because it's not scripted and it doesn't cost the production companies or the stations much to produce those shows. So we get a lot more reality shows. So expect that to come about probably again out of this. You're going to get a lot more reality type shows that aren't scripted.
I mean, maybe. I mean, hopefully not. But yeah, I mean, reality TV is still big. So
Yeah.
and there's channels that live off of that stuff. So
Yeah. Like shows like that spawned the reality franchises 15 years ago, like the Real Housewives shows were like the big thing that came out of the last writer's strike. So unfortunately, something like that might happen again.
maybe. It depends on how long this thing
Yeah.
goes for.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
But yeah, it will be interesting. Hopefully, they'll figure it out. It won't go 13 weeks, but it's already been 2 weeks, I think, 2 going on 3.
Yeah. Yeah. They're saying it could last till the end of summer,
Yeah, that's pretty big.
which is kind of what happened the last time. If I remember correctly, it was like, right. It always seems to like, of course, they always like make their contracts so they end basically around the old broadcast calendar. Like your seasons would end in like the June timeframe, May-June timeframe. So that's what's going to happen again because you basically have already everything's been filmed for the season that's happening right now. So you're going to get to the point where all these shows that you're watching now are going to finish their seasons, and then stuff that would usually pop up after that aren't going to pop up this summer. So it's going to be a very, like they call it, the dry summer in 2007. There was no new content really coming out.
Yeah, there'll be no new TV for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably way past September.
Yeah. And the networks don't really, I mean, hate to say it, the networks don't really care that much because it's summer and they don't expect anyone to be watching anything on their channels. So they don't really.
But their new seasons would start in September, October.
Which is when the last one ended, because it was like around the time that they start getting ready to production on the fall shows is when the last one like resolved basically.
Yeah, but don't forget though, the landscape has changed.
It has. So that's the difference this time around. Is it's a whole different ball game.
Streaming is
2007. So
streaming is anytime now.
Yeah.
There's no like a show comes out, be like, oh, it's coming out in July. It's coming out in August. It's coming out in November.
Yeah, like Netflix dropped the second season of Sweet Tooth, and I didn't even know what was happening. It just kind of appeared, and I was like, oh, that's going on.
I mentioned it to you. I said it came out, and you're like,
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how this all shakes out.
Yeah.
So Marcus,
writers should get what they deserve. They shouldn't have to fight for their portion of the pie, so to speak.
Seriously, because they're the ones who are bringing these stories to us. I mean, they're the backbone of any great show. The writing is make it or break it. It makes a great show. It can make a bad show, but the writers deserve to get paid well. And when a show becomes a hit on streaming, they should be allowed to make extra money because of that. And
this doesn't just affect, like, I know we're talking a lot about the streaming stuff and that kind of thing, but it doesn't just affect just that. Like films, like movies that were, it's going to affect the movie schedules again because like films that were supposed to come out are being pushed back or their production halted because the writers aren't there.
Right. Yeah.
Or new movies that were planned to be coming out might come back later than they were supposed to because their writers aren't writing the scripts right now. So
all the movies that I think are slated for this year will be coming out. It's the movies that will
no,
be
it's like
coming out
next year.
next
Yeah,
year.
that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Um,
Like stuff that's in the works or is just about to finish up, like Andor had not finished production on their next season, so that's being halted. Marvel shows that they were starting to get going might be pushed back because they're not being worked on right now.
yeah.
So
There was a couple Marvel shows that stopped production.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, yeah, it will affect. We will feel the effects of this
yeah,
next year or
yeah,
the end of this year when it comes to TV.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they just deserve it, and it's sad when some of the they were saying the head writer for The Bear on FX,
Yes, which is starting a new season soon, and it's amazing, and I'm excited for it.
right? The guy won all these awards, and he was working Postmates to pay his rent.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's
You're
crazy.
on a critically acclaimed show. You're a head writer. You're a head writer, and you're working Postmates. Doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem right at all.
No.
So that's what they're fighting for. Because a lot of they say a lot of these guys, to make ends meet from gig to gig, they're working like odd jobs just to make ends meet.
Which is why it's like that. It's kind of brought about the revolution, not the revolution so much, but just like the thing of the producers of the show, and not only just the producers, they're also the stars of the show, and they're the writers of the show. Like Abbott Elementary, Quinta Bronson is the producer, the star, and one of the lead writers of the show. So it's like, because they know that if you just write the show, you're not going to get the funds that you would if you were in charge of everything and also being on the show. So
it was her show idea too.
Yeah, but in the first season, I'm saying she wrote and she was working on the writing room and starring in the show, and she's also a producer on the show.
Yeah.
I'm assuming since the show's gotten bigger, she's stepped less into the writing part of it and is more on the other side of it. But
you have other gigs where you're a hired writer to come on to work, and if you're like, oh, we're hiring you to do 10 episodes of this show that's gonna be on this streaming service.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I do the 10 episodes, but the show becomes a massive hit and it wins all these awards. But you're done. You're not making anything beyond what they hired you to do.
Yeah.
Whereas if back 10 years ago, you were on a show that became a major hit, you did 22 episodes, there's reruns, you're making anytime your episode reran, you got paid. So you have money coming in to sustain you to the next gig. Now that has kind of gone away for new writers coming into this, and they're like, streaming show, it's a one and done. They're making no residuals.
Reruns. It's just there.
So it's just like streaming music. These artists should be getting paid every time a song is
listen to it.
Well, these writers, they're not making any money, even though that show might be watched by billions over the next months. They're only getting paid to write, and they're off. They're done. So it's more complicated than all that, but it's crazy.
And there's always, you can look into information on the in-depth stuff. We just kind of just cover the outside of it, and then you dig in deeper on your own. But speaking of things that are big news, Brian, the big news in the music industry, I don't know if you saw this bit of news. I'll wait until you finish your drink, so I want you to spit it out. The Weeknd has changed his name on all of his social medias to his real name and is planning to kill the Weeknd character in his next album.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He really likes to create this thing. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I was reading an article about it this morning that he decided that he said everything that he can say as the Weeknd and wants to try something new. He said he might come down the road, he might put out music as the Weeknd, but he's no longer going to be referred to as The Weeknd. He wants to be called by his real name.
Wow. I'm
Yeah.
interested to hear this.
Yeah.
The last album had some awesome videos, and there was like
Yeah.
this, like there were like art films, and they had like a
Yes.
through
Yeah.
line, and
Yeah.
I really liked them. So I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So he said he's in the studio now working on it, getting the album done. So
Nice.
his plan is to, at the very end of the album, I guess,
Kill off the
somewhere in
week.
the album, kill The Weeknd.
Nice. I hope some awesome music videos come out of this.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that he's been trying to do something along this line. Because he did have a house at Universal's Horror Nights this past year, and all the videos I saw of the haunted house is basically that was what he was doing. He was mutilating the character, and basically, like, at the end of the house, the character's murdered, basically, or along those lines.
Yeah.
That something along those lines happens. So it's kind of like, well, I mean, I could see he's wanting to do something with this character.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last album, I mean, all his appearances, his face was bandaged up, and there was this whole subplot where, like, there's a whole slasher episode. Oh, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Even with the Super Bowl halftime show, he had a whole story in that. So
yeah, everybody was bandaged up.
Yeah, it's very interesting that his whole gimmick is very interesting. That he's playing a character called The Weeknd, and it's not him as The Weeknd. Like, in the article, he very much it talks about that, how The Weeknd is over here, and I play this character on stage, and when I do music, but outside of that, I think his name's Abel, and that's how I am every day, basically.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Mark. We should
get
into our review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's taken us a couple weeks to get here, but here we are.
We're probably the last people you hear talk about this movie.
And
I'm sure you've heard many reviews about it.
It's funny. I have stayed away from all reviews, and I've just let this movie sit. And I have a lot of thoughts.
I haven't watched many, but I know that there's been a contingent of fans that have found this movie very difficult to watch.
Well, yeah, it was.
Because of the animal stuff.
Yes.
And
I cried.
I did, after getting home, and not that night, of course, because Claire was already asleep by the time I got home. But the next day when I was talking to her about the movie, she was like, well, what do you think? And I was like, I think we might have to, like, I might have to give you more information before you see this movie. Because I don't spoil it for her, but I tell her, like, my opinion on it and if I liked it or not. I said, I like the movie, but if we go to see it, I'm going to need to tell you things before you see it, because I don't want it to affect you. Because I know she's, like Allison, very animal attached, and certain parts of the movie would be very difficult.
It was difficult.
Well, I know, like, we are, but I'm saying, like,
I get chills thinking about it. Let's give our initial thoughts. And
at this point, I think whoever's going to see it has seen it, so we don't need to really not do.
Spoilers. We're going to spoil things.
We're going to spoil it all the way through, because if you hadn't seen it by now, why are you here?
Yeah.
It was in the title. I don't know why people do the non-spoiler section. It's in the title that we're going to be talking about the movie. If you want to watch the movie, don't come here. So
so when my expectations and my hype was high for this, I walked out of that theater, man, and I remember saying to you, one more time, like, I was ready to watch this movie again. That's something that hasn't happened to me since Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, exactly.
I walked out of this movie, I felt satisfied. I felt sad. I felt elated. I felt, like, joyful. I had so many emotions coming out of me, and I was like, God damn you, James Gunn, you magnificent bastard. You pulled it off for me. It felt like an ending. It felt like an epilogue to the MCU. It felt like this is the movie that should have came out after Endgame and just closed up. They just close up shop and never make an MCU movie again. I would be totally happy.
I don't know about that.
I felt, for me, it felt like an unofficial ending to some of my favorite characters.
It was a love letter to those characters that James Gunn wrote.
Well, yeah, this is it. This is the end. This is the final one.
I think it's his like goodbye message to the MCU. And it surprisingly to me, at the end of it, my first thought was, wow, I'm kind of excited to see what he does with DC now.
Oh yeah,
he can pull this off with MCU characters. It'd be interesting to see what his take is going to be on the DCU stuff.
Well, Superman should be great.
Hopefully.
I think it will, but not to get distracted. But anyway, that was my initial reaction, man. I walked out of there loving it. I still love it. I want to see it again. I just haven't had the time. There's too many things going on in my life. But it's a movie I'm excited to rewatch. Hopefully in the theater again, if not at home.
Yeah.
And like I said, to me, it felt like an ending to this era of the MCU. And I know this past phase we're ushering in a new characters, but none of them have ever hit me as much as those first group of characters. Iron Man, Thor, and all these guys are saying goodbye. And it was, to me, it felt like a good ending. Of course I'll still see the MCU movies, but to me, this was my favorite stuff. So it just I loved it. That was my walkout, and to this day, one of my favorites.
It was the first one for me since, I want to say, Endgame, where I've actually like got home and like sat down and thought about it. Like, what just happened there? What just happened? Like, we just had a lot of stuff happen and a lot of good things. There is one thing I'm not a fan of, which I think I talked about after the movie with you guys, but it's here nor there. But it's a really good movie. It's a fantastic wrap up to their story. It still leaves options for down the road for some characters to be able to do stuff, which is great. And he pulled off the thing that I was hoping he would do, where he was able to finish this group's story without getting rid of any of the characters. Because it always seems like that's the default for some of these, like Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow. It's like, oh, to end these characters' stories, they have to die. There's no way they can keep going without being gone. Because if we don't kill them, then there's a chance someone would bring them back down the road. And as the writer, I don't want anyone else to be able to use this character, so I'm just going to kill the character off, kind of thing, And
we thought someone was going to die, but man, it got close, and I really it
was a perfect like James Gunn thing where he got you right to the edge, and was like, oh, it's going to be this guy. Nope, no, it's not. Like Nebula on the ship, Peter Quill with the
being in space,
being in space. Rocket with the work stuff. So it was like each character, basically, like even Drax and Mantis had their little things of, this could be the moment. Nope, just tricking you. It's not them. It's not going to be them that it happens to. So
it was well done. I mean, it got, and also, man, to set, like, I got so invested in Rocket, a CG character.
Yeah.
I got so invested in CG characters. I say to myself, like, holy crap, I can't believe, like, man, I was brought to tears. I had a tear. There was that scene when Rocket gets to see his friends again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, are we going there?
Yeah.
And you see them walking towards each other.
Yeah.
And his friend says, it's not your time.
Yeah.
And the audience went ape shit.
Yeah.
Like, we had a great audience. I tell
we
you.
did. It was a great audience.
Fantastic audience.
Which I was kind of worried about because of the later audience. Usually those are a little bit less involved.
No, you have two rowdy audiences. You have one who talks during Ant-Man the entire time, or B, you have an audience who cheers and gets excited for these big moments.
Yeah.
And man, we got the good one.
Yeah.
We got the good one. Yeah, it felt so good. Like, and I want to say the villain. Holy crap! One of the best villains, one of the most memorable villains in the MCU, knocked it out of the park. And it's so funny because he was in Peacemaker. I didn't realize that was the guy.
The alien,
He was the guy in charge of the operation. Come to find out, he was also manipulated by the alien.
Well, he was a bug.
Yes, he was one of the bugs, but we didn't know that until later on in the season.
Yes,
but
spoiler for Peacemaker if you haven't seen it
yet. Holy crap! Like, I just loved how the High Evolutionary. I just love how he wanted to create this world, these worlds where these animals live, but
basically any person who's ever bought SimCity.
Yeah.
That's basically what he was. He's basically any human who's ever played the game since SimCity.
Yeah, and then when it got corrupted,
but it was with actual people as opposed to like a video game. It was like, oh, I want to make that didn't work out. Here's some aliens to blow it up and kill everybody.
Yep.
Start from scratch again.
And there were some great moments with him. Also, I love the fact that he gets so unhinged.
Yeah.
And the people that working underneath him say to him, what is your deal? You got to let this go. And he was just like so unhinged, he didn't care.
Yeah.
But I thought the actor pulled it off. Like, man, it was like, you felt it. And they just let him go. Like, there was no holding back. And obviously, what the interesting moment that people were talking about was, they're going to be allowing an F-bomb in this movie. Now, I thought the F-bomb, maybe, I don't want to ruin it. The F-bomb is really funny. It's in a funny scene. I think it worked out well. For some strange reason, I thought the F-bomb would have been in a more dramatic moment. But holy crap, the entire audience lost it. It was a great moment for the F-bomb. But for a PG-13 movie, it did deal with a lot of dark themes, coarse language, the violence. The sets were fantastic. It just came out that Guardians Volume 3 hit the world record for the most prosthetics used in a single movie, which you felt it. I kind of felt like this movie, even though there were CG big heavy moments, it felt tactile, like it felt real. And I think that's great because sometimes, like Ant-Man, it kind of felt like it was just done on volume. You kind of felt like, or even like She-Hulk, like the CG was so wonky. So I think it was great that they had time to really make everything look natural, real, use prosthetic stuff if they can. Are you frozen, Mark? What are you doing?
Nope, I'm here. I'm listening.
I don't believe
Wait for you to finish your sentence.
I don't believe anything you just said. You're reading, you're doing something.
No, I'm
texting,
looking up stuff and also listening to you at the same time.
Well, anyway, well,
I have like a little I can hear a chipmunk running around my roof, which is always fun.
I think over time, the one complaint, and I know this is something you talked about. I thought Will Porter played Adam Warlock. I thought he was great, Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock obviously was something that was teased at the end of Volume 2 with the pod. Adam Warlock had to be introduced in this movie. So don't I know James Gunn has been out talking about making the movie. He said this was one of the hardest things he had to do, was to incorporate Adam Warlock into this film. So that probably was an MCU thing that, hey, Adam Warlock needs to be introduced.
Yeah.
So you have to, I thought ultimately bringing him in, and maybe after watching this movie a couple more times, my opinion might change. It didn't bother me, but I will say he wasn't needed. But I understand if they needed him in this, what else could you have done?
It was to me, it was a waste of the character.
Yeah, but don't forget, this is his introduction, so he will be coming back.
Possibly.
Well, yeah,
The person that they said would be returning is Star-Lord at the end of the movie.
no, but they said Adam Warlock will be in future MCU movies.
Yeah, but based off what they made him out to be in the second movie as a possible villain to this whole movie.
Well, he's never been a villain. He's someone that's
No, but you know what I
always
mean? Like
alive.
the way it was set up, that he was going to be an integral part of this movie. A little bit. Like they teased him in the post-credit scene in 2.
He was in a pod.
Yeah.
We just saw a pod.
Yeah, but I mean, they teased that he was coming.
Yeah.
And for him just to be basically like a side henchman type character in this, and not really having a story, so to speak, besides, you know,
in the advertisement, we didn't know what he was doing. We didn't know what his how strong his character was going to be.
yeah,
I mean, have him coming in, you know, he's kind of like on the leash,
yeah,
with his mom, and then his mom being killed in front of him, not knowing where he belongs in the universe.
Yeah.
And
it just like they didn't go, like, for me, it just didn't go in depth enough into the character. It was kind of just a very,
yes, it's on
like,
the level of service.
Yeah, it was a very surface character, and he just very much was just kind of there. I don't want to say like as the mulligan, but like kind of as a mulligan for certain parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Like as the, oh, well, we need to save Peter Quill from being lost in space, basically. Oh, let's have Warlock save him. Oh, we need to do this. Oh, let's have Adam Warlock just come in and do it,
Well, no, I mean,
a
Adam
character
Warlock,
that I thought could be a bigger portion of the movie.
Yeah.
I think he just wasn't expanded upon enough to make me interested in wanting to see more of him, is what I'm trying to get at.
See,
like if the Warner Warlock's never another MCU movie, I'm not gonna care.
I'm opposite. I want to see.
I'm not gonna be like, oh man, that's too bad he's like, we don't see Adam Warlock ever again.
I want to see more of him. I thought it was a good. His introduction to me was sort of akin to Spider-Man's introduction in Civil War. Spider-Man showed up for the fight.
Yeah, we already had Spider-Man in something before that, though.
No, that was his first appearance.
In an MCU movie.
Yeah.
He'd already been in his own movie before that.
No.
Yes, Tom Holland had played Spider-Man before that.
No, Civil War was the first time.
I don't think so. I think they're at least the first Spider-Man had come out before that.
No. So Civil War was their very first look at Spider-Man in the MCU ever. And then
the MCU, but I'm saying I think he had a Sony movie before that.
No, then his movie came out because the first movie was Tony Stark was in it, and he was his mentor. Remember? And they gave us that trailer, and it was like Spider-Man. Everybody lost their shit. Spider-Man first showed up in Civil War for the fight scene. That was the first time ever. And then he got his own movie. He got introduced, then own movie, just like Black Panther, introduced in another movie, then he got his own movie. I know, time goes by quick, Mark. We're all losing our marbles.
Spider-Man: Homecoming came out in 2017.
Civil War. I'll eat my shoe if I'm wrong.
Civil War came out in 2016. Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his first introduction. So what I'm trying to say is Adam Warlock to me was akin to that, where he's introduced in Guardians, but he will show up in something else. So I do want to see more of him. I thought he was portrayed nicely. I do like a younger take because this is a character that can grow.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And don't forget, Adam Warlock in the comics was a very integral part of the
He
whole
kills Thanos.
The whole glove.
He kills Thanos and takes the gauntlet.
Yeah. So
he's kind of a big character.
He is. But
so they could spin this to him being the one that kills Kang, I guess, since whatever happens there.
Yeah.
But not getting into that anymore than we have to.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, that's fine. I mean, listen, I think you make good points, Mark. I don't think you're wrong. I'm excited to see more Adam Warlock. Honestly, that's my biggest complaint about the MCU right now is they tease these characters at the end of every movie and then we never see anything.
Which we got no teases of anything new in
that's
this.
Fine.
Which is great. It was nice. It was kind of like the nice wrap up of that whole story. It's like now we can kind of like put the Infinity Gauntlet stone stuff away.
My favorite things about this movie
and move on to the Kang stuff.
It was not tied to any other property. It's tied only to the Guardians movies.
Well, I mean, it was loosely like the villain was Celestial, which goes with ego, and that's all been in that story.
Yeah, but that was in Guardians too.
Yeah, so it kind of that stuff's still happening.
But it was just refreshing to just keep it contained.
Yeah,
it's a great movie contained.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see now where they go. Like the MCU goes next with the Marvels. Interesting to see like what the story is behind that and what they're doing. Overarching story wise, not just the movie story wise.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's gonna be the first one that kind of launches the new, other than Ant-Man, but will continue the overarching story. What this phase is going to be about.
I don't know. I mean, it's weird. Now that Guardians is over, I'm excited for Secret Wars because yet again it's dealing with a character I love.
Yeah.
Marvel's, it's kind of in between. It's got new characters with an older one.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it, but yeah, we just gotta wait and see. I don't know. They gotta, get things, make it a little bit more clear for us about what's gonna happen.
We'll be interesting to see too, because the Marvels is, I think, one of the first, other than Doctor Strange, it's the next one of the movies that features characters that were from a Disney Plus show.
2 characters from Disney.
Well, the other girl was in the first Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but she got her powers.
She got her powers in WandaVision.
WandaVision. Yeah. All right.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how that translates, because I know there's folks that haven't seen any of those shows. Like my wife Claire's not seen any of the Marvel shows. So
will it suffer?
Yeah. Will that hinder it? Will that help it?
Yeah, I mean,
Captain Marvel was not a hugely popular character when it came out.
I have no plans in watching that show, but I already know what happens. The trailer gave us that anyway.
Yeah. That was Miss Marvel, the TV show, but I'm talking about the movie, the first Captain Marvel.
Oh,
movie.
I like the first Captain Marvel.
I know some people was very weird about it, so it'll be very interesting to see how it gets received.
Yeah, we'll see it opening night. We'll check it out. We have Secret Wars. No, not Secret Wars. The Nick Cage
Secret Invasion
in June.
Yeah.
I'm so happy Bill Iger is back to be like, we need to space these out.
Or Bob Iger.
Bob Iger. So the fact that
Bill's brother.
Guardians, yeah, it gets time to breathe.
Bill's more important brother.
Yeah, and it gives the Marvels to have the winter time, not crammed in the big at the end of summer.
We're also gonna get Loki in the fall, so
They still haven't announced it.
yeah. But I'm assuming it's gonna be summerish fall time.
Yeah, they still have not announced when Loki season 2 is going to come out. I think they're going to wait for this show to come out and then make that announcement.
Yeah. Well, because I don't want people to kind of like be overexcited for Loki and not excited at all for Secret Invasion. So
yeah,
but it'll be interesting to see how it all wraps and all gets going. But all right, so we're at that point. What do you rate Guardians Volume 3?
All right.
Marvel scale of 1 to 10.
I'm going to give you, so on my little notepad that I've been keeping track of everything I've been watching and anything of note throughout the year. This is what I wrote when we went to go see it on May 4th. I wrote, awesome soundtrack, fantastic movie, the best
Amazing
MCU movie.
That is awesome. Probably one of the best soundtracks in a long time.
I said the best MCU movie since Endgame. I give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
And as of today, I'm sticking with it. I'm going to stick with that score. And I will tell you why I give it a 9.5. I give it a 9.5, even though I slightly disagree with your take on Adam Warlock. I get what you're saying because I give it would have a 10 if that Adam Warlock stuff was just slightly better, or maybe not even in there. But
it just been fleshed out a tiny bit more. It would have knocked it to a full 10.
But I will say this: I still liked his character. I want to see more of it.
Yeah.
But it was probably like I just wanted more. So for me, I still stick with the 9.5 out of 10, which is fantastic. So Marcus, what's your final
right now?
Okay.
Living the dream.
You know it. So
for me, I would agree on all those things that you said. And I was also going to give it a 9.5 because of I take the 0.5 off for the Adam Warlock stuff. If they had fleshed it out just a tiny bit more, I feel, and made his character a little bit more and I don't want to say important in the overall story, but a little bit more involved than just like making him a random henchman character who's like under servitude to the big villain. It's kind of like feels like it was thrown in there. It wasn't like, it feels like maybe feel like his character maybe feel like James Gunn had wrote the whole script, and then someone was like, oh hey, didn't you throw a thing in the end of episode or volume 2 about Adam Warlock? And he's like, god dang it, I did, hold on a second, and then like went back and like threw in pieces for Adam Warlock to do, and then just like, all right, here you go. And that was like the extent of it. It feels like his character wasn't like fully thought out and put into the movie to make it cohesive and make it flow better.
I will say though, me personally, I think the Adam Warlock stuff worked a lot better than what they tried to do with Ironheart.
Oh, for sure.
I thought the
Ironheart was definitely pigeonholed into the movie.
That felt like they stepped on the brakes in the middle of the movie.
It feels like they were like, okay, you can do the second Black Panther movie, but we've already decided we're going to do this show and we need a way to get her into the universe. So would you mind throwing her into your movie? Because that way we can then be like, okay, now don't forget coming up. Because at the time, it would have happened like right after Black Panther 2 had come out. Ironheart would have happened.
Yeah.
But COVID world. So I think that's another issue with that, is that I think it was going to make more sense initially, And then when everything happened, it just kind of, now at this point, Ironheart show, I don't think anyone gives two hoots about it, and who knows what'll ever happen at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Yeah. So I will say the Adam Warlock stuff is still way
yeah,
better than that.
yeah,
But overall, I mean, yeah, still 9.5 is really good. That's
yeah,
so close to being perfect.
yeah.
Like I said, I want to see it again. My opinion might change. I might like it more. I might like that part less. I don't know. But
Yeah.
right now, man, I love it. I love this movie.
Oh,
To
it's a
me,
great flick. It's literally up there with my top 5 MCU movies.
yeah. Oh, no doubt. I
Yeah,
mean, I think Spider-Man No Way Home and Endgame and this were probably one of my top 3 Marvel MCU theater experiences.
yeah.
Nothing will come close. I don't even know how we top Guardians 3. I mean, yeah, the Marvels is coming out. I don't think it's going to top it. I
No, I
don't
think you're gonna have to wait probably till like the Kang stories.
or Secret Wars or the Kang Dynasty or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, like those
Um,
ones.
yeah. So it's
Because it
going to
was
be
kind of like
long.
it was like that kind of scope, and it feels like that's what the Guardians movies were. They were like the big team up movies, but it was just a team movie. So it's kind of like a la like the Suicide Squad, which makes sense that James Gunn would have been transferred over to the DCU for that, because he's basically making that in the Marvel universe and just not killing anybody.
Yeah.
In Suicide Squad, he gets to kill everybody. So
Yeah.
I think that's the smooth transition for him. But it, like I said at the very beginning of this, it's going to be very interesting to see how he's handled the MCU characters, how he's now going to take that and put it into the DC universe of characters, and how that's going to translate. And it's a
Should be
very different type of storytelling
well,
between
Superman,
Marvel
I think
comics and DC comics.
well, not really. A lot of
Well,
it's
character wise, it's a different vibe.
I think Superman, because he's doing Superman Legacy, which is
Yeah,
going to be the first one out of the gate.
yeah,
And honestly, I think the biggest thing about Zack Snyder's Superman, it was missing the brightness, the hope, the it wasn't so his Superman was so dark and dreary.
yeah,
Even though I thought Cavill was an amazing Superman,
yeah,
I just didn't care to watch a depressing mute Superman. Like
yeah,
it felt like someone was like Superman's about being bright, positive,
yeah,
being a hope, being like we throughout darkness here's the light. I felt
yeah.
like Superman was the darkness. He just felt so emo and he
No,
felt so
exactly. Yeah,
like depressing. It was the most depressing Superman I've ever seen.
yeah,
Uh, even though Cavill was a really good Superman.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. Anyway, that was our review. We'll be back next Tuesday, hopefully in the studio, right?
Hopefully,
Um,
that's the plan.
we should do it.
Depending on how
And
the world works, we'll see how it goes.
I will be telling everybody about my colonoscopy, and we'll be talking about
Stay tuned.
Blink. We're going to be going to Blink this Saturday, so we'll
Yes,
have plenty
have
to
that
talk about. Yeah,
talk about as well. Yeah,
yeah, very excited.
yeah.
So, I need to get more water in me, and
There you go.
I know my Jello and water diet today, and I get to blow it out of my butt at 5 o'clock.
Nice.
Oh, it's very exciting.
Yeah,
Have you
sounds like a
have
good
you
time.
have you had a colonoscopy
Not
yet?
yet. Next year. Next year.
You excited?
After hearing what you're going through, I can't wait.
I will see if I can get the tapes and we can air it on public access.
Let's not do that.
We could do like a little, we could dub over it, and then we enter the anus cavity. Oh, we're going down.
Fantastic Voyage.
Oh,
Isn't that the movie where the guy like they shove
yeah,
the ship into the guy?
yeah, yeah.
Fantastic Voyage.
Remember Inner Space with Martin Short?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love that movie.
Yeah.
The movie is amazing. Goldie,
Osmosis Jones, was that the one that was the cartoon one?
yeah, but Inner Space had Martin Short, and it had Meg Ryan, and
Mm.
it had his sons and the boys. What's his name? Who who's
Think of it.
the actor's son who plays in the boys?
Someone's out there, Bobby's out there right now and telling us who this person is.
Inner Space is an amazing movie. Anyway,
1987 Inner Space. Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
Yes, Meg Ryan. Fiona Lewis. Robert Picardo played the cowboy.
I love the cowboy. Oh, Church is the Cowboy.
Yeah.
Great movie. Have you ever seen Inner Space?
Yes. I remember it vaguely. Remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good movie. Good flick.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to picture is going to happen to me tomorrow. They're going to shoot a little ship up my butt.
Yeah.
And he'll come back out and report back to them.
Yes.
But yeah, I'll film it. We can dub it with our voices. Oh, we're taking a turn. Oh, there's the hamster Brian put up there when he was a boy. There he is. Let him wings. Yeah, stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Kevin McCarthy was in it. The older guy, Kevin McCarthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Henry Gibson played Mr. Wormwood. He was in a bunch of stuff back in the day. Wow.
It's a great movie. Great flick. I must have watched it like 100 times when I was a kid. I would love to rewatch it now as an adult. I haven't seen it in forever.
Well, it's a good day to watch it.
Oh, I might check it out.
Yeah. You probably find it somewhere. It's probably on something.
Maybe.
You could watch it on Prime Video for $2.99.
Yeah, that's okay. If it was free, sure. It should not be $2.99. It should be part of my Prime.
Yeah.
What am I paying Prime for?
It's a 6.8 out of 10.
That means it's excellence.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It's good. Anyway, Mark, we should wrap the show up. We got to get out of here. I got Jello to eat.
Yeah, chill today.
I got Jello to eat. And
all right. As always, everybody, we'll see you all next week. Make sure to check us out online for all our stuff we got going on. As always, be safe, be well, be kind.
And get those colonoscopies.
Rewind. Bye, everybody.
Bye.